The five transformations is a very well-used Oriental theory, a big part of Oriental philosophy and medicine. It's a very, very useful theory. It enables us to understand how a lot of different things are all linked together. This is a combination of five transformations and, you could say, emotional counselling or emotional counselling type understanding, which I hope you'll find interesting. For me, the crossover is very, very interesting. So let me say a little bit about five transformations to start off with. Western thinking likes to look at details, and it'll analyse things in incredible detail. And from the detail, it hopes to get the bigger principles of how the universe works. And scientists always seem to be saying, well, another decade and we'll understand everything, the God principle, which seems a little bit arrogant to me. The Eastern approach is the opposite. They start off by having an appreciation of the whole, of oneness, and they then see that as dividing into two opposite forces, which they call yin and yang. And so they describe everything in terms of yin and yang. Really, really simple. And it's just amazing the power of understanding things in terms of yin and yang. Everything comes in complementary opposites. Then the next theory on is the five transformations, or sometimes it's called five elements. And this is saying that everything occurs in five. Anything you look at has five different qualities in it. Five different, you could say, basic elements, which are called fire, earth, metal, water, and tree, or wood. I like tree because actually it's much more of a living energy rather than wood. For me is like a log, which feels a bit dead. So sometimes it's called the five transformations because it's energy transforming from one element to the next. It's a kind of moving system. Oriental thinking is much more about change and movement, whereas Western thinking is more about fixing things, and once we've named something, that's it. The Oriental approach is, well, if you've got something today, tomorrow it's going to change. Tomorrow it'll be different. So the Oriental approach to life is about noticing that everything changes, and we need to be changing along with it. We need to be changing our food, our activity, our thinking, emotionally. Movement and change needs to be happening all the time, because that's what's happening in nature. And if we do that, we can stay healthy and happy, and in fact get happier and happier. If we try and stay stuck, then we're going to be in for a shock, an illness, an accident, or something. So the macrobiotic understanding is the art of life is the art of keep changing. So one way of looking at change is that we move through these five elements. Often the origin or the beginning point is seen as being the water energy, which gives rise to the tree energy, and I'll explain why soon, which then gives rise to the fire energy, and that to the earth energy, and that to the metal energy, which then returns to the water energy. And in Oriental thinking, they see everything as being composed of these five different energies, which means we can look at anything in terms of these five different energies. such as the seasons, the times of day. We can look at a plant, different parts of the plant, different parts of the body. We can look at anything as being composed of these 5 energies. For example, over the seasons, water energy is more the feeling of midwinter, when the energy goes deeply into plants. The energy in us goes deeper in our bodies. There's not so much activity. Energy is more deep inside the earth, trees, our bodies, etc. In the spring, the energy starts rising. So the water energy is more of a deep energy. Tree energy, more of a rising energy. In the spring, things start warming up, our bodies start warming up, our energy starts coming outwards. We want to become active. We start having plans, we want to do things. And then in the summer, this leads to the most active kind of energy, going in all directions, where we like to be outside, we want to sit in cafes, we want to talk, we want to chat. We want to extend our energy, we want to express ourselves. Then come the kind of late summer, it feels like the energy starts descending again. Some people get addicted to summer. They don't like it when the energy changes, starts coming inwards a bit. This is where we start feeling more peaceful, more kind of peaceful, more quiet, more balanced. And that then leads on to the autumn. It starts getting colder. The energy starts going into the trees, into the animals. Our bodies start contracting. The plants are forming seeds, it's kind of small, compact structures. A lot of plants lose their leaves, and the energy is becoming deep in the plants again. So in the autumn, this is our energy is coming in, and then people start feeling more inward. They want to stay in the evening. Also more focus, more mental focus. So this is good energy for studying and mentally focusing. Yeah. We could look at the same energies over a day, kind of night time. The energy is much quieter. You get up in the night, just lovely and peaceful. The energy is really deep. Good time for meditating. In the morning, hopefully, we wake up and feel renewed energy, and we want to get up and be active and do things. More the middle of the day, our most active time. Afternoon, things start slowing down. Evening time, the energy is coming more inward. We maybe want to come home, eat, be more at home, or we may just go and do the opposite. We may go out, just have a bit of the opposite, have a bit of fun, with a bit of fire energy. Go down the pub, go and see some friends, and then we have to go to sleep. Back into the water time. We're moving through these 5 different energies all the time. And the Oriental way of looking at things is that also our bodies are nourished by all 5 of these energies. But particular organs are nourished by a particular energy. So, for example, the water energy particularly nourishes kidney and bladder, which just fits nicely on a symbolic level. Tree energy nourishes the liver and gallbladder because they need a lot of this rising, opening energy. The fire energy nourishes the heart and the small intestine, because these organs particularly need this more expansive energy that creates blood circulation, takes warmth around the body. The earth energy, this descending energy, particularly nourishes the stomach and the spleen and the pancreas, because this nourishment coming into the body, and the stomach and the pancreas are to do with dealing with nutrition. And then the metal energy particularly nourishes the lungs and the large intestine, because both of these organs need this much more contracting energy. The lungs are bringing the key in the air, because when we breathe, we're not only breathing oxygen and carbon dioxide, we're also taking in qi. And the lungs are bringing that qi into the body, into the lungs, and then down into the body, and making air into solid matter. So that's a very, this direction of energy, isn't it? Large intestine doing a similar thing. When the food's gone through your small intestine, it arrives in the large intestine. It's actually liquid. I don't know, have you ever had bad diarrhea? You sit on the loo and it's just like liquid comes out. So that's what the contents of your small intestine's like. Thank goodness we have a large intestine, I always think, because what the large intestine does is extracts most of the water and a lot of the nutrients, and then once or twice a day we just go and have a hopefully short session sitting on the toilet, and just these beautifully formed stools come out. So our large intestine makes life a lot simpler by, again, concentrating the contents of the gut. So different organs need these different energies. So already we can start seeing connections, like in the winter. The winter time particularly nourishes the kidneys and bladder organs. The springtime or the morning time particularly nourishes the liver and gallbladder, because that's when this energy is strongest. So our liver and gallbladder should be at their happiest in the morning. However, if we feel particularly out of sorts in the morning, let's say we wake up and it takes us a long time to get going, and we feel very grumpy and we need a few coffees or teas or something to get us going, then immediately in 5 transformation theory we know that there's something going on with our liver and gallbladder. So isn't that amazing that we can connect up a time of day with some internal organs? You see what I mean? So if you go to a doctor and say, well, I get a symptom, my eyes really itch, and I have a kind of pain behind my eyes every morning when I wake up. A Western doctor doesn't really mean anything. But from an Oriental point of view, we say, okay, well, you've got aching behind your eyes, this is where the liver meridian goes, the eyes are connected with the liver, and it's happening in the morning. So we know this is due to an imbalance in your liver energy and your tree energy. So the 5-element theory lets us connect up things which we wouldn't ever normally connect up in a Western kind of linear way of thinking. And that's what makes the 5-element theory so interesting, because you can understand how everything's connected with everything.